So just what is Snapchat? Well, as Matt mentioned, it's a smartphone app that allows people to share photos and videos that apparently self-destruct after being viewed once for up to 10 seconds. But it's not as secure as many people think.
All right, joining us now, social media expert Chris Dessi. All right, the downfall of this, if you were planning to misuse it, is that someone gets the Snapchat and goes, and can take a screenshot of it before it goes away.
And that's it. And it's unfortunate because the application is cool. It's fun. I use it with my 2 kids and with cousins, and we send silly pictures, but there's this false sense of security. You get lulled into this false sense of security and you say, hey, listen, if I take a potentially promiscuous photograph, well, it's going to be gone forever. Wrong. Wrong.
Do you think kids really even think that? Are we giving them not enough credit? They know how this stuff works, right?
They know exactly how it works, but they don't realize that it's going to be, I tell people when you're dealing with anything online, literally anything online, applications, email, anything in social media, anything in the internet, period, the assumption should be that it will be out there in perpetuity. Right? But they're kids. They're not thinking about that, and frankly, there are a lot of adults that get themselves into trouble with these applications and within social media as well. And I've been here talking about it. Exactly.
I mean, technology keeps having these new apps coming up, and they make these promises like, oh, it's going to be self-destructing, or you can delete them forever. But technologically speaking, that's really impossible, right?
It's impossible. It's got to go somewhere. It goes into the cloud. They're storing it in databases. That's the way that these things function. And until they think of something that's going to completely self-destruct right now, the manner in which you should conduct yourself is to make the assumption that it will be there forever.
Now I'm trying to even figure out this amnesty deal that the cops and the school have worked up together. They're basically saying, you've got until Monday to erase your copy of it.
Right.
Which, I mean, it's a good idea, but it's folly, isn't it?
It's never going to happen.
Because what happened? These kids too. So they took the screenshot of the naked picture and then they posted it on Instagram. And it's a million different places by now.
And like when you think about it, you hear about the story, you're like, oh, that's so horrible. But of course they're going to do that. They're kids. They don't understand the repercussions of it. And everything that's happening within social media amplifies what's happening in the real world, right? This is just, silliness and crazy kid behavior amplified, and now all of a sudden it gains national attention. They don't have that realization, and frankly, as adults, we don't have it either because this is new. These types of technologies are new, so we're just kind of getting our feet wet. We're just kind of figuring it out, and hopefully, as time goes on, we'll have a better understanding. We'll be able to slow down and think before we start engaging in these applications and posting potentially incriminating photographs.
That's really good advice. As a parent, Chris, parents who have kids who use apps like these, and these photos apparently self-destruct, how do you go back into your child's phone and see if they are sending inappropriate photos? What do you do?
So I've heard some great advice with parent advocacy groups, and they talk about allowing kids to have their phones for a certain time of day, but then giving kids a sort of end-of-day curfew with the phone and saying, listen, we're going to put it in a charging station. I'm going to own the password because I'm the parent. I'm paying the bills. That's the way it goes in this house. And you could check the history of the photographs and any of the content and the activity within the phone. You charge it overnight. Maybe you stop the usage at 4:00 p.m. before dinner, so you could have a nice dinner together. But being able to be involved in what your children are doing within these applications, I think, is paramount, right?
Right. I mean, we are seeing parents use the leverage of the fact that they're probably paying for these things more and more. Like, okay, you've got the phone, but I've got the password. We did a story last night about that. That's probably your best bet.
Absolutely your best bet. I mean, listen, my kids, my oldest is going to be 5 in April. My youngest is 2. The 2-year-old, you can see her on my iPhone flipping around. They know how to navigate these things. So you need to be attentive to it.
But they're like 10 steps ahead of us. There are apps out there that look like a calculator icon on the phone, and then you click on it with a password, and then all these secret videos or photos can show up. What can you do as a parent?
You need to educate yourself, right? Because if you can't sit passively
beyond technology, you just have to tell your kids, don't do this.
You need to be aware. You need to be hyper-vigilant. You need to be reading these things. You need to be going online and reading about these stories and get a little bit more of an in-depth view about the stories. What's going on there? Why is this happening? And then taking control of it within your home.
Great, Chris. We appreciate it. Silverback Social Media.
Silverback Social.